That kind of inconsistency in their interview, that point specifically, just came off so bratty, and Piers didn't want to hear it, and so he walked off. Hey guys, so today's video I'm going to be saying my comments on the Meghan Markle and Harry interview. I'm going to say right here, I haven't been able to see the whole thing because I've only been able to find clips of the interview because it's only been shown like once in the UK. I don't have live TV and I haven't been able to find a full version of it online. I'm just going to be commenting on the clips and kind of bombshells that I've seen and especially that I've heard about. And I'm also going to comment on the Piers Morgan walk off because I have a lot of thoughts. There's quite a few things that were mentioned in the interview that I think were very hard to swallow for quite a lot of people. Something I will say is I'm never going to diminish someone's experience, especially as a person of colour. I don't think that's my place. Something that was difficult to kind of follow was inconsistencies in their comments. Meghan mentions that I believe that she didn't know who Harry was when she met him. But then in, I believe, other interviews, she's mentioned that she was obsessed with the monarchy.
But how come one of Meghan's childhood friends came out to say that she was fascinated by the royal family and that she had books on Princess Diana? A different source even said that she researched until she found Diana's favorite perfume and that she wore it on the first couple of dates with Harry. Several sources have said that she is obsessed with Diana. Also, it's not believable that she didn't research them and that she didn't Google Prince Harry.
So which one is it? That kind of inconsistency in their interview, and especially with Oprah not pressing them on such inconsistencies, I believe that's one of the reasons why it's kind of hard to accept what they say. So they've said that they've stepped away from the monarchy because basically it's toxic due to experiences that she's had, especially where someone within the royal family may have been racist towards her or said a racist comment about her or her unborn child to Harry. It was a lot around what the baby's skin colour was going to be, and
one parent is white, one parent is black. You know, what colour could your baby be? Let me finish. What colour could your baby be? Is there a difference between that question phrased in that innocent, perhaps, way, and somebody doing it in a tone that says, well, how dark is your baby going to be?
Well, key word was, are you worried?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
But that, to me, is
and
racist.
There's a big difference.
I think context is extremely important in that case. With mixed couples, that is a question that I think a lot of couples have. Whether the person of colour sees that as a microaggression, I'm not going to comment on that.
Is there a difference? If it was said, perhaps in all innocence, right, and they just said, oh, what colour baby might you have, without any suggestion of it being a concern or a worry if it had darker skin, would that in itself, would just the question be racist?
That in itself is fine, but you have to think about how it feels on the receiving end, because what we're speculating is as to how that message...
Yeah, I don't know how it was communicated.
Just that comment, with no context around it, it's hard. It's a consistent comment that people have for mixed race couples. It's just something to keep in mind. Another inconsistency I really struggled with was that they said that they were basically stepping away from the monarchy because, like I said, they think it's toxic, which is fine. That is their opinion, and they are adults. They are within their rights to step away from the monarchy. That's fine. But if it's so toxic, then why do they want their child to have a title?
In short, Archie wasn't automatically entitled to the prince title since he is not a child of a future monarch. Being a prince or princess does not automatically mean royals have police protection. Under the law, he would have gotten the prince title if Charles were to become king, and there is no factual evidence that anything was changed because of Archie.
I personally would think that if you do believe that, especially as a person of colour, that this is like a racist institution, then why would you want your child to be involved with it? It's things like that I really don't understand. Another point they raised was that they were going to be maybe not struggling for money. I hope that's not how they worded it, but that they no longer had Prince Charles's money, so Harry's father's money. That's no one's problem but your own. I don't see why it's Charles's responsibility to bankroll them, especially if they are leaving the institution they find so toxic. That point specifically just came off so bratty to the both of them that they didn't appreciate that they had been bankrolled this whole time, that they had, you know, this glorious place in the UK, and it was their choice to leave, but then now they're saying they're going to struggle. Yeah, okay. Just get paid for a few more interviews, you'll be fine. There are bad things you can say about all parties across this, and this is not a me shitting on Meghan Markle at all. She is within her right to share her personal experience. I do think that none of the inconsistencies being questioned by Oprah made Oprah seem like a really terrible interviewer, but that's just my opinion. One of the last points I want to cover on the Meghan Markle interview was the mental health item that she raised. Meghan mentioned that she really struggled from depression while she was within the monarchy and covering her monarchy Duchess duties. Mental health is nothing that should be taken lightly. I've lived with depression since I was like 14 years old. So she requested to see a doctor from someone within one of their teams. She was told that, well, that wouldn't be a very good look, and therefore rejected her request. If that's true, that's terrible, and I don't think that should be acceptable, and I think that that should be investigated, and I believe it is being investigated from what I hear. But if that was the case, and this is again why I question why Oprah didn't push on this point, her husband is a mental health ambassador from multiple charities. The second she brought it up to him, would that not have been resolved? I'm not saying that she didn't struggle with mental health. I'm not saying that she should receive help for the depression that she said she had. I just question that, one, the first person that you would have felt comfortable surely speaking to about your mental health would have been your husband, would have been the person you were closest to within all of the monarchy and every single member of staff. Would have expected that she would speak to him first, and maybe he mentioned, okay, speak to so-and-so and request to see a doctor, etc. And maybe then it got rejected. But then the second that that happened, would you not have just spoken to your husband and said, this is what happened, I don't think it's right, I need help? It's just, again, it's just really questionable. It's inconsistent. And this is not just in the monarchy. In any relationship, the person you're closest to is going to be your husband. So the second you have any mental health, if you are depressed, if you're struggling with anything, the first person you are going to be comfortable probably to speak to, I would suspect, is your partner. So either she didn't tell him, or she didn't tell him that her request was rejected. I think if they would have been pressed on that, maybe we would have got the answers to that kind of question. Very last point I want to raise on this, and then we'll get on to the Piers Morgan walk-off. This is going to sound really harsh, and again, this is not I'm shitting on Meghan Markle at all. You see things on YouTube, for instance. Let's take Jeffree Star. He's consistently going through friend groups, and you have to eventually question, okay, is it the friend groups or is it me? She's estranged herself from her family, and I don't know what happened there. I'm not going to speculate. And now she's estranged from his, and because of that, estranged her husband from his family. I don't believe she has a good relationship with her ex-husband. There's a lot of bad relationships, it seems like, in her past. And I just wonder, is she seeing toxicity because she's had toxicity in her life before? Now she can't segregate it, or is it genuine? If this keeps happening, I think eventually you need to stop and start to look at, is Meghan the catalyst every time? Is it because she's seeing things or reading into things that aren't there? Not saying that's necessarily the case here, just saying it's something I'm speculating about because there was nothing pressed in this interview. Speculation is the only thing we have now. Last quick thing I want to cover is Piers Morgan and opinions which he has so fucking many on this topic. So I'm not really going to go into his opinions that much. Basically, he's a huge royalist. He thinks that she should never have said anything negative about the royal family. He said that he basically doesn't believe a word she said.
OK, again, let's have the names. Who did you go to? What did they say to you? I'm sorry, I don't believe a word she says, Meghan Markle.
Well, that's a
I wouldn't believe it if she read me a weather report. And the fact that she's fired up this onslaught...
Which in turn means that he doesn't believe her mental health struggle. He is right, he never specifically said he doesn't believe her mental health struggles. Problem was, he said that he basically doesn't believe a word she said.
Now, when we talked about this yesterday, I said, as an all-encompassing thing, I don't believe what Meghan Markle is saying generally in this interview. And I still have serious concerns about the veracity of a lot of what she said. But let me just state for the record about my position on mental illness, right? And on suicide. On mental illness and suicide, these are clearly extremely serious things. They should be taken extremely seriously. And if somebody is feeling that way, they should get the treatment and the help that they need every time. My real concern was a disbelief, frankly, and I'm prepared to be proven wrong on this. And if I'm wrong, it is a scandal that she went to a senior member of the royal household, told them she was suicidal, and was told she could not have any help because it would be a bad look for the family.
That covers everything then, doesn't it? The problem with Piers is that he's a bully. I don't think he's a very good interviewer. His opinions are extremely polarising, and he doesn't let his co-host speak half the time.
Okay, a number of people might be upset.
Sorry, you can come to
you can
defend it in a minute. I'm just going to say what I'm going to say. We're going to bring in Chris Shipp here.
You said that you wanted your say, and we've let you have your say. Can I just have my say as well on this?
He doesn't let the person who is interviewing speak half the time.
Is anything fine? I mean, can I be anything I want?
And as the couple struggle to get a word in edgeways, Morgan seems less interested in hearing their answers than he does in admiring the sound of his own voice.
He can be extremely biased. So one of the things that people said that the reason that Piers was so salty about Meghan Markle was the fact that he had a conversation with her previously, or he was friends with her or something previously, and then she dropped him.
I watch it with a slightly jaundiced eye that I can't pretend I don't have from my own experience of having been quite friendly with Meghan and then ditched like a sack of spuds.
Is that where it all started,
well,
though?
It certainly
like, if she had remained being friendly with you, would you still be able to criticise her in the way that you do?
Well, I'd feel the same way if you did it or Phil did it or anybody else. I didn't know anyone near as well as I know you guys, but I find it very odd when people are sort of overtly friendly to you for quite a long period of time, 18 months or so, and then bang.
I wonder why. It could have been a keep your friends close, keep your enemies closer, and then she realised she didn't want to keep her enemy that close. One of the things, especially with this Meghan Markle thing, and I'd noticed it previously with a number of his interviews, but I think, in my personal opinion, he's a very unfair interviewer because he will speak over the person he's interviewing a lot. There's a lot of fiery debates, I think that's how they word it. It gets a lot of views on like YouTube, and it gets a lot of views, I assume, for their TV programme. I'm sure that's great for views, but it doesn't make him a good interviewer. I don't remember the gentleman's name, but he's like the weatherman or something. He and Piers had fiery debates on a previous morning discussing the interview, and he was, again, kind of calling Piers out on being biased against Meghan Markle, and Piers didn't want to hear it, and so he walked off.
Since she cut you off, I don't think she has, but yet you continue to trash her.
OK, I'm done with this.
No.
Sorry, no. Sorry.
Do you know what? That's pathetic.
You can trash me, mate, but not mine.
No.
See you later.
I'm being...
Sorry, can't do this.
This is absolutely diabolical behaviour.
Because that's really mature. Honestly, I kind of say good riddance. Have been things that I've agreed with Piers Morgan. It's just, I think the way he goes about every interview is just so polarising and toxic, and especially with this Meghan Markle debate. And he's such a royalist that he can't accept a single negative word towards the royal family. Just, it highlights how anyone else's opinion just doesn't matter to him. And as an interviewer, you have to want to hear both sides. Majority of the time, people want interviewers to be fair, and I just don't think Piers is. So that's everything for the video. If you enjoyed it or liked any of my opinions, please hit the like button and subscribe if you feel like it. I'd really appreciate it. And I hope to see you all in the next video. Bye.